Let me ask you something. Have you ever sent a girl a simple text, maybe a joke or a quick check-in, and then sat there staring at the screen? You see those three gray dots appear, then they vanish. 10 minutes turn into 2 hours. Your brain starts racing. You wonder if you sounded too aggressive or just weak. Suddenly, you're typing out an 87-word paragraph just to clarify what you meant. You think you're fixing a misunderstanding. You're not. You're falling into a reactivity loop. Most guys see this silence as a problem that needs words to solve. But here's the cold truth. She isn't ignoring the message. She's observing how much space your anxiety occupies the moment she stops providing validation. She's measuring your gravity. If that sounds familiar, this analysis is for you. We're going to look at the silent rules that govern her mind. Rules that most men never see until it's too late. I want to be real with you first. I've been that man. I've sat with my phone, watching a conversation go cold, telling myself, she's probably just busy, all while my heart was racing. We've all been there. It's not that we are clueless, it's that we're trained to look for big, obvious signs. But women are subtle. Their mind operates on a different frequency. You think your effort, the long texts, the 0.2-second replies, the constant check-ins, is building a connection. You think you're proving your value. But here is the shift. Women don't fall for effort. They respond to your internal stillness. In her subconscious, she is performing a safety search. She is asking one silent question. Can I place my heart in this man's hands while feeling secure? When you rush to explain yourself or apologize for an imaginary mistake just to get a reply, you are failing that search. You are communicating that your internal stability is tied to her attention. If your value drops the moment she stops replying, you never had value in her eyes to begin with. To understand why she does this, we need to look at the first rule of the feminine map. You have a great night. You're both laughing, the chemistry is a 10 out of 10, and you feel like things are finally moving forward. Then, for the next 48 hours, nothing. Most guys interpret this silence as boredom or a loss of interest. They panic and try to force the conversation back to life, but that's a surface-level read. In behavioral profiling, we call this avoidant recalibration. Her brain is literally cooling down the engines to see if you'll stay on course. Closeness often awakens old, subconscious fears of rejection or loss. She isn't pulling away because she likes you less. She is building a small wall to observe you from a safe distance. She is recalibrating her internal boundaries after feeling more than she intended to feel. But what happens if that silence hits the 72-hour mark? This is where the real diagnostic begins. You see her online. You see her viewing your stories, but your last text is sitting there, unread. This is the gravity protocol. She is creating an emotional vacuum to see if you have the weight to stand on your own, or if you'll get sucked into her orbit. Guy, hey, did I do something to upset you? I feel like you're being cold. When you send that, you've just failed the diagnostic. You've communicated that your peace of mind depends entirely on her constant validation. Profiler. You maintain your silence. You continue your day as if the vacuum doesn't exist. Remember, her distance is not an exit, it's a diagnostic tool for your gravity. If you stay stable without chasing, she will return with even more strength because she saw that you didn't leave your center while she was testing the distance. This internal conflict often leads to what looks like shifting decisions. Inside her mind, there is a constant friction between what she deeply craves and what she believes is socially acceptable. This is cognitive dissonance. It's the sound of her brain arguing with her instincts. You might experience this when she tells you, "We should probably slow down," but then she's the one leaning in or holding eye contact a second longer than normal. Never look only at what appears on the outside. Her words are her morals, but her actions are her desire. This conflict leads to the most common behavior, the test. It isn't a game, it's subconscious grooming. She is probing your emotional baseline to see if you are a stable protector or just a reactive child. Imagine she casually mentions a guy named Jake from her office while you're at dinner. She is watching your eyes to see if you lose your balance. Guy, who is this Jake? Why are you talking about him so much? Do you like him? Profiler, calmly listens, stays unbothered, sounds like he's a hard worker. Anyway, back to what we were saying. Pressure never wins. She doesn't trust a man based on his words, but on his stability under the pressure she puts him in. The final layer is the childhood blueprint. Her mind is a map shaped by the early treatment she received from her parents. This is relational imprinting. If her father was cold and distant, she might subconsciously seek out men who awaken that same pain because her brain is trying to solve an old, unresolved story. She isn't being difficult. She's following a blueprint. If you try to fix her, you lose your frame. If you understand the pattern, you lead the dance. So, after decoding all these signals, what is the final verdict for your sanity? The real victory isn't winning her over. It's reaching the point where you no longer need her validation to know your worth. You are no longer just a man dealing with the fluctuations of a feminine mind. You become the master of yourself, building a world with no domination and no manipulation. When you master your own reactions, you stop being a prisoner of her moods and her chaos. You no longer wait for reassurance from her because you have become its source. If the silence continues and there is no effort on her part, remember this: silence is not rejection, silence is clarity. Walking away from someone who's playing you isn't being cold, it's having standards. It's choosing not to waste the one thing you can never get back: your time. If she chooses someone else, it doesn't mean you failed. It means you didn't abandon yourself trying to win someone. If you've ever missed signals like these in the past, drop a comment. Trust me, we've all been there. Sometimes a girl isn't playing you. Sometimes she genuinely just sees you as a friend, and a lot of guys mix those two up completely. That's why you need to watch my next video on the friendzone trap. Most guys miss these signals until it's too late. Master your gravity, or you'll always be a satellite in someone else's orbit. I'll see you in the next analysis.